Well, howdy do there, Impact Now crew. It's Miss D again, and I am here with your Wednesday night lesson. Last week we started talking a little bit about Moses, and we learned that after Moses had spent some time in the wilderness and he'd gotten married to this really pretty girl named Zipporah, he was tending his sheep, and he saw this little flicker in the corner of his eye. And what was that flicker? That's right, it was the burning bush. So we're going to continue on with the story of Moses and what happens after he spoke with God in the burning bush. Now, let's not forget that when he saw the flicker out of the corner of his eye, he got a little bit curious, and he walked over and kind of was like, What is that? And God spoke up and he said,
"Take off your shoes, for this is holy ground."
And God gave Moses a set of instructions to go and talk to Pharaoh. Pharaoh is like the president at the time of ancient Egypt. So Pharaoh to Moses is like Donald Trump to us. He was the president during the time that God told Moses to go and free the Israelites. So Moses had to go and talk to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh was not happy with what was said. And so because Pharaoh was not happy and he didn't like it and he got really angry and he got really upset, his heart became hardened. And we want to talk about what is a hardened heart tonight. We don't want to have a hardened heart. So let's see what happened to Pharaoh and why his heart became so hardened. Today I'm going to read from you the lesson of the 10 plagues out of the Beginning Children's Bible. You can find this story of the 10 plagues between Exodus 7 through Exodus 12. You guys ready? Here we go. The 10 plagues. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh's place. They said, "You must let the Israelites go free. If you do not, God will punish you." Pharaoh said, "No, I do not know your God." Then he made the Israelites work even harder. God was not pleased, so he changed the main river to blood. Pharaoh did not care. "I will never let the Israelites go," he said. Then God sent frogs to Egypt. They were sitting in chairs, hopping upstairs, and jumping all over the beds. Pharaoh said, "Take the frogs away and I will let your people go." So God took the frogs away. But Pharaoh changed his mind and said, "No." God sent more plagues on Egypt. First were the pesky gnats, then a frenzy of flies. Next, all the animals got sick. Then the Egyptian skin broke out in sores. Damaging hailstorms came, and the swarms of locusts ate the crop. Then darkness covered everything. Sometimes Pharaoh said he would let the people go, but after God took away each plague, Pharaoh changed his mind and said no. Moses had one last message from God for Pharaoh. "If you do not let my people go, the firstborn son in each Egyptian family will die." Pharaoh refused to listen, so God kept his promise. Pharaoh finally said, "Go now." Well, God sent Pharaoh and the Egyptians through, didn't he? Could you imagine going through all of that stuff just because you did not listen to what God wanted you to do? Our topic tonight is a hardened heart. Now, what exactly is a hardened heart? A hardened heart is a heart that no longer has compassion or love or care for anyone else, anybody, whatever else anybody else has to do. You only care about yourself. You only care about the things that you want. You don't want to help mom. You don't want to help dad. You don't want to help your sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends. Who else is there? There's so many people in the world that we have relationship with, and we don't want to have a hardened heart. We want to have a heart filled with love, because that is a commandment that God has taught us, is that we need to love our neighbors as much as we love ourselves. Now, what I would like for you guys to do tonight is to go back through the video and get a piece of paper and a pen and just begin to write all of the plagues that you hear. Write everything down that made Pharaoh have a hardened heart. And ask God, don't let me be like Pharaoh. Because we don't want to. When we are out and about, if we have to go out, guys, I still want us to remain safe. I still want you to wash your hands. Don't touch all over your faces. Don't stick stuff in your mouth that doesn't belong there. Only food. Food. So when we go out and about, and let's say there's a little old lady that has dropped a roll of toilet tissue, because that is the thing that everybody is looking for, right? Toilet tissue. Go figure. Well, let's say a little old lady drops a piece of toilet tissue and that was the last piece. Do you keep it for yourself and say, this is mine, nobody else can have it? Or do you pick it up and say, excuse me, ma'am, I didn't want you to be without your toilet tissue. Here you go. You give it back. That's right. That's having a heart of love. That's having care for somebody else that is not you. That is showing that you have Jesus living inside of your heart. The best way for us to give people Jesus is to show Jesus. So tonight, we're going to close out in prayer. We are going to ask God to always help us have a heart filled with love, a compassionate heart, a loving heart, and not to allow us to have a hardened heart. But if we ever do have a hardened heart, that somebody who loves us can talk to us and help us understand why our hearts became hard. If you would, go ahead and close your eyes and bow your heads. We're about to go ahead and pray out for the evening. Close your eyes. Bow your heads. I see you. God, you are amazing. You are the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You protect us even when we can't protect ourselves, God, and we thank you for that. God, we thank you for the lesson tonight of the 10 plagues, learning that Moses went forward doing what you asked him to do, even though he was a little afraid, knowing that he had to go up against the biggest person in the land of Egypt. He had to go up against Pharaoh to ask that he let your people, the Israelites, go. God, thank you for allowing us to learn that Pharaoh did not at first want to let anyone go. But then you showed who you are. What you say has to happen. Pharaoh finally gave in. Was his heart still hard, or had it given into a compassionate heart? God, we ask right now that you allow our hearts to remain compassionate, to remain full of love, so that when we go out, we can show who our God is. We can show who we serve. We love you. We praise you. We worship you. God, thank you for protecting us, our families, and our friends. We ask that you take care of those that are already sick. We ask that you heal those that are in need of healing. God, we thank you. You are awesome. In Jesus' name, everybody now says amen. Guys, I can't wait to talk to you on Sunday and see what we will learn then. Until later, mwah, 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 mwah. I love each of you. Bye.